I've learned, having a young family of 3 kids, it really does take a village to raise a family, because I think in our society we tend to live such isolated lives, even though you might have friends, you might have your parents, a few streets down the road, or whatever it might be. But we're really not living in that village environment where everyone's supporting and helping each other, with raising the kids, with the house chores. And a lot of that can fall on the mother in our society, because the man is just to be expected to be out working all day, and the mother has to manage the whole house, the kids, keep everything in order. And that can be a really, really silent struggle that, not we've gone through personally, but, I also see a lot of people go through.
Goes back to the mental load.
Yeah. It's really important to understand that, because we are living in an affluent society, but in order to appreciate it, a lot of times both parents need to work so they can afford it. It's nice to think that the mum can stay at home, and if you're that way inclined, the dad can stay at home and look after the children, but sometimes it's not practical. And again, people will feel a sense of failure, that they have to go to work just to survive, and at the detriment of the children. And that becomes an issue in itself. And the guilt, I think, is probably one of the things you may have to deal with.
Yeah, it's such incredible work.
It is.
Because there's so many women that just do not... I think they're aware, but they're not aware that that's not normal to feel. That it's not normal to go on feeling guilty and to carry that throughout your life.
But it's not a thought. If it was just, I think I'm guilty, you can work with that. It's really easy to work with. But they believe they're guilty.
It's a belief.
And working with a belief system is so much harder than working with a thought. You can change a thought, but a belief, this is intrinsic, this is within them, and they've grown up believing this, that I am the be-all and end-all. And it doesn't help when people around you, people closest to you, aren't supporting you, or they're reinforcing this guilt.
Yes, because it's a societal belief, and they carry it through as they get older as well. So they carry it through motherhood, and as their kids get older, and then their grandparents, and there's still this feeling of guilt.
And a lot of the time they don't speak about it, which is the issue. So it starts off something small, and as women we're expected to be these perfect vessels or perfect women in general. And when things don't go the way that you're expecting it, then the guilt starts and you don't have anyone to talk to, and then it continues throughout your life.
It's interesting, Michael, you touched on the whole, it takes a village to raise a child, because we come from a communal type environment, or a collective society, and we're in Australia where it's an individualistic society, and the people who are sort of integrating in this society are kind of feeling the difference. Back in Lebanon, in the village, if someone had a baby, the whole village had the baby, and there'd be support, there'd be everyone, there'd be the old wives' tales, there'd be everybody who were experts in childbearing. But here it's like that whole concept of suffering in silence, because you don't want to appear as someone who's, what's the word I'm looking for? Someone who's...
Incompetent?
Incompetent, yeah, perfect. Because I think they're so scared of how they're seen. Going through that, just moving forward now, because we could talk about this for ages. Just want to complete the cycle now. I want to go towards menopause. What I've seen in my practice is sometimes the wife will drag the husband into the session and say, here, teach him about menopause. And he looks at me and he goes, what's this about? I said, have you heard of the word before? And he said, this is a woman problem. And it's everyone's problem. So I wonder if I can hear about some of your experiences with menopause, or how about, Michael, you start off with telling us what menopause is.
So menopause is essentially a change in a state, and a mainly hormonal change in a state in a woman, where she no longer begins ovulating, and all the the cycle changes and the hormone changes associated with that, and moving to a stage of life where she is not fertile anymore. And so we call that whole process menopause, essentially.
Okay. What do we see? As a layperson, and they're looking at their wife or their mother, what are they seeing?
For me, it's really just signs of hormonal fluctuations. So
Which
it can
is
be, wildly different between people. But very common menopause symptoms are hot flushes, night sweats, moody, irritable. It can be exhaustion, brain fog, things like breast tenderness, changes in your cycle and your bleeding can be heavier, can be lighter, can be more irregular, but over time tends to space out, and the cycle becomes less and less over time, and essentially stops as well.
It's interesting, isn't it? When we look at it, it sounds so abnormal, when in fact it's actually normal.
Yeah.
This is exactly what happens with women, and some of the things they go through. Have you had any experiences in Teresa Centre when it comes to menopause?
Not so much in Teresa Centre, but in my usual practice, I have a lot of women do come to me experiencing perimenopause and then menopause. So perimenopause would be the phase just preceding menopause, where you would have the period, becoming irregular, maybe heavier, maybe lighter, and then eventually it would stop with all the symptoms that Michael mentioned. And it's not just, the period stops. There's a lot of different things, and it does take some time. So you need to allow the woman to talk and to talk about her experience. And in addition to all the symptoms that Michael mentioned, it's also depression is a big one, and anxiety. And a lot of women do come and they're saying that, I don't know what's happening to me. I'm snapping a lot. I'm crying excessively. But these are the women that we need to be able to talk to and help and lead them on the right way. Sometimes they do need hormone replacement therapy. Sometimes they don't. So it really depends, and each woman is different.
It's amazing that when you guys mention all the symptoms, the ones I hear from all the aunties when they're all complaining about it is the hot flushes and is, the night sweats and all of that stuff. And they complain about the bone density dropping, and nobody actually ever mentions the mental. Because then, does that really exist? Is it real?
I went through it with my wife, and I nearly froze during winter because she was getting the hot flushes, so kicking off the blankets, and I was surviving on the corner of the bed sheet. But I knew she was going through menopause. But I wonder, can I ask this question to both of you? What would be your advice to the men who are going through their wives' menopause? What would be your advice?
For me, is sit with your wife and let her explain things to you. Maybe even come in on a consult with a doctor and try to understand where she's coming from, because she's not going crazy. And these symptoms are there or have happened for a reason. So just trying to understand where your wife is coming from. What about you, Michael?
Excellent.
I think it would be important for men to understand that this is a long process. It's not something that a woman just goes through in a few weeks or a few months. It can be years. And so a lot of men just expect quick fixes to issues. And so it's more about just understanding what is happening, that it can be normal, and that they have to, just like any other struggle or issue in marriage, they have to work through their spouse with this. And there may be some changes that changes to their lives that they're going to have to make and to live with to support, women through that stage.
But it's temporary.
Yeah.
It's not permanent.
Yes.
Not permanent.
So we all end up getting through it in the end.
Correct.
Personal experience. Well, do you have any final words before we wrap up?
I think for me would be, like Michael was saying with the village, is also with our culture, going back to our roots and asking for help when you need it, and for women to speak up. So it's a lot in our culture. It's become this culture where women don't speak up. And we touched based on it throughout the episode, but it's definitely, if you're struggling with something, don't hold it in. Don't bottle things up. Speak to a close friend. Speak to a doctor you trust. Come speak to one of us as well. There is help out there, and you're not alone in all this.
It's great. Thank you. Michael?
what I would add to that is, I think in our society, as a replacement to that community and the villages that our culture comes from, and we used to live in that culture, a replacement now is turning to technology and turning to ChatGPT and Gemini, and asking Google about these issues. Yes, they can give answers, but that's not something that's going to provide long-term support. So it's more about building that network and reaching out and asking for real people to build real connections with, because that's what's going to get most people through it.
I think one of our biggest problems is the ab factor.
Yeah.
Did I say that
The
right?
ab factor.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Factor.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not. We're not in a place where you have to suffer in silence. It's not failure to ask for help. I think it's really important that we find solutions to things, because we can actually minimise these pains that we're going through simply by asking for help.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong thing. It actually is that you're doing the right thing and helping yourself and your baby or your partner just by asking the right question. Not ChatGPT. ChatGPT does not know who you are. Ask a human being. You'd be surprised by how warm it could be asking a person compared to asking a computer.